Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about comparison using subtraction and division. So let's take an example. Let's say we're ordering a pizza for home and it's a tale of two brothers. I have a brother who's elder to me. So the pizza having 6 pieces get distributed in a way that my elder brother gets 4 pieces and me, being the younger one, gets 2 pieces. Now 2 pieces is definitely going to be enough for me. But me being the younger brother, I have to tell my mom. I have to ask my mom that, Mom, why did I get less slices? And I did a little mental math here. So I saw that Dada, who got 4 slices, I can see that he got more slices. But to quantify it, I did. He has 4 slices, I have 2 slices. So Dada has got 4 minus 2, 2 slices more than me. And I told this argument to Mom. And Mom, being a mathematician herself, she replied very smartly. She said that, well, Dada is also twice as old as you. So he gets twice as number of pieces. And me being good at math, I thought, let's just verify this. So we take Dada here, which is just older brother of 16 years, and here, Ann of 8 years. So when we divide the ages, we get 8 into 2 is 16, right? So if we divide it, we get that Dada is twice as old as me. So Dada is twice as old as me. And let's also check the pizza slices here. So we have 4 slices here, which Dada got. And it has 2 slices here, which I got. So that's 4 slices divided by 2 slices. 2 into 2 is 4. So when we divide it, we're going to get 2. So now that's fair. That's a fair argument from Mom. That because he's older, twice the age of me, then he will get twice the number of pieces. But essentially what is happening here, that is that I did the comparison using subtraction. That he got 2 slices more than me. Whereas mother did the comparison using division. That he's twice the age, so he gets more. And now let's look at these concepts in a bit more detail. So starting with comparison using subtraction. In this, what we do is, we tell the difference between two quantities. And between the difference, we say that this is the comparison happening because there's a difference. Difference here is the keyword. From this, we will get that how much one quantity is more or less than the other. Let's understand this with an example. So we have a weekly test. Let's say in one weekly test, we got the number 15 on 20 because we did a silly mistake here. And this is weekly test 1, where we got 15 marks. The next week, the math exam, I got 20 on 20, complete total marks. Because this is after I watched all the videos. So I got 20 on 20 here. So weekly 2, I get 20 marks. Now to see what progress I've gained in the week, I can just do 20 minus 5 to get the difference. That how much I've improved. So we have 20 marks minus 15 marks, giving us 5 marks. So this means that I got 5 marks more in weekly 2 than weekly 1. So you can see this is a sort of comparison. I'm comparing my current marks with my previous marks, and by the use of subtraction, by telling that there's a difference. Let's take another example. Let's say I go for walking and I check my watch every time to see how many steps I've taken. And let's say I've set the target for myself of 500 steps, whereas I've only covered 300 steps till now. So what is the difference here? I'm comparing the target with what I have currently. And that I can do it by subtraction, as we see. So let's subtract. We have 500 steps minus 300 steps that I've taken. So that is 200 steps. And this is a simple comparison, which says that you have covered 200 less steps than the target. Right? So this is how we compare using subtraction. Another way to compare is using division. So let's see that. For comparison using division, we compare the quantities through the times or parts relation, as in how much times or how much parts is one quantity of the other. And we do that by dividing the bigger quantity by the smaller quantity. So let's understand this with an example. Suppose we have a class of 16 students, of which we can count here and it is 12 boys, whereas there are 4 girls. And if someone asks me, how much boys are more than girls, I can do that by subtraction. That there are 12 boys and 4 girls, so there is 8 more boys than girls. But if someone asks me how many times the number of boys are there compared to the number of girls, then what I can do is I divide. I take the number of boys as 12 students, I take the number of girls as 4 students, and then we divide both of them. So 4 into 3 is 12, so this is 3. In a class of 16 students, the number of boys in the class is actually thrice the number of girls. Now this gives a much better idea on how the distribution of the class is, because I can say simply that there is 8 more boys than girls. But that doesn't give us any idea of how the distribution is. But when I say the number of boys in the class is thrice the number of girls, it gives us a much clearer picture. So that's why comparison using division can be used also here. Another example, let's see. So let's say I'm making tea. And generally the tea that I make, I add quantities of milk and some quantity of water. So if I'm taking close to 200 milliliter of milk, what I do is I add 100 milliliter of water. But this is the tea I'm just making for 2 people. What if the same proportion I wanted to keep if I'm making for 10 people also? If I take 1000 or 2000 milliliter of milk and I wanted to know how much water should I be putting here? Intuitively know what I'm doing here is I am approximately putting half the amount of water as milk. So if milk is 200 milliliter, I'm putting 100 milliliter water. But let's see it mathematically. So again, we can divide and we can compare using division here. So we have the quantity of milk as 200 milliliter, whereas we have quantity of water as 100 milliliter. So when we divide it now, 100 into 2 is 200. So this is 2. So what I can say is that the quantity of milk I'm using is twice the quantity of water. And it doesn't matter what quantity it is, 200 milliliter or 100 milliliter. I can now reciprocate it for any quantity. I can take it for 1000 milliliter, I can take it for 2000 milliliter, but the proportion remains the same, that I'm only taking half the milk as water, right? Or I can also write that for 1 part of water, I'm adding 2 parts of milk. So that is where the parts relationship comes. And when I'm saying that it is twice the amount of milk, that is the times relationship coming. So that is 2 ways of comparing different quantities. One we saw was comparison using subtraction, and this was the other one, comparison using division. Thank you.